Welcome to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan. Joining me, Zach, Cam, and Ben. And it's Thanksgiving week. So whether you're traveling or you're staying home and having something a little low key, stay safe. This week we did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. John Hughes directed a comedy from 1987 starring Steve Martin and John Candy. Kick things off and get everybody in the right mood. We're going to go to this week's cocktail. We're just doing a nice, simple, classic gin and tonic. I was trying to do something fancy. I was like an aviation because of planes or a paper plane. And then Cam's wife was like, gin and tonic? Because I feel like a gin and tonic is something you would get on a plane. It's something like simple. It's something that like it's easy to do because you'll get those little... Because we already did airplane shooters. Like, we did, like, the airplane cocktails when we did airplane.
Yeah, we all remember that. We were all wide awake for it.
Everybody finished that episode.
You know.
Everybody can go back and listen to that Oh, wait. Hold on. No, wait. They can't.
Those are from the Dark Ages.
Dylan censored it.
It was the Dark Ages for Dylan.
Is that what you call it when you close your eyes and go to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always night out as long as my eyes are closed. But this would have been the perfect one for the little tiny bottles because they literally drink the little tiny bottles. Mm-hmm. And then we have the maybe culturally insensitive Jamaican accent.
No, it's fine. John Candy was in Cool Runnings.
Oh, good.
He played a Jamaican in a movie once. It's fine.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I think with any comedy this old, you're going to get some of those things. There were definitely some other moments that were a little cringe, but it's overall, it's not
with
awful.
The earrings? That one I was kind of...
Oh, that one's not great. There's also some mild homophobia in there.
That's so like it's so 80s in the sense of where it's like after it happens and they're just like, oh yeah, the Bears are looking good this year.
Sports. Yeah. Although I was surprised it didn't happen more. Like there weren't more cringe moments like that, but they were few and far between, in my opinion, in this one. Not that we're talking about that now, but anyway.
The gin and tonic is 2 ounces of gin, 4 ounces of tonic water. It's wild.
Easy.
This is my first time ever having one. And I don't know. I fully expected to like hate it.
I thought I would hate it too, but it's actually not bad. I thought it would suck. I put a couple drops of lime juice in there because I don't have any lime wedges to garnish, which honestly didn't change it much. But I actually thought this is not bad. It's a really simple drink. Like I was like, I think part of it for me was I always associated tonic water with just like soda water, Mm-hmm. But tonic water does have its own flavor, and gin's grown on me a little bit, so I actually didn't mind this drink at all.
You sound very hesitant with that. You're like, it grew on me a little bit.
Well, I'm still not gonna like drink it straight up.
Lie. Pre this podcast, never would drink gin.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Post this podcast,
I would drink gin.
I fucking love gin.
Pre this podcast, I would never eat poop. But after this podcast, I've got an acquired taste for it now. I just feel like our generation, like gin just missed us. I feel like gin is kind of like, it's like your grandparents' alcohol.
Yeah. I think
like that and like brandy. And
I think part of that is, and it's not strictly just gin, but I think the whole martini thing kind of just flew over. Like the non like fruity martinis kind of just like skipped over all like I don't know anybody my age that really, really, really likes like dirty martinis,
I like this cocktail. Sometimes gin can be a little too strong if it's like not a well-balanced drink. But to be honest, this is just kind of lengthens it enough to where you still can taste the gin and you get that like juniper, the like characteristics of gin. That makes it good. It gives it a little flavor for something that doesn't necessarily taste like you're drinking a cocktail. Like, to be honest, it kind of just tastes like you're drinking
this
tonic
one
water.
Also probably depends on the quality of gin a lot more than others. Like, I imagine if you're doing this with like bottom shelf gin, maybe even like Tanqueray, you may not like it that much.
Whoa, miss me with that Beefeater slander.
I don't know. I honestly haven't tried Beefeater, but I'm drinking this with Hendrick's Lunar
Oh.
gin, I think, right now, and
Alright,
that's very
Mr.
good.
Mr. Pinky out over here. My
It's pretty good.
Did you do did you do that one you have, the special one, the summer solstice one?
So I have two. I have the summer solstice and I have a lunar, and this is the lunar one. Which, frankly, I don't really remember the difference off the top of my head. But so if you smell them, they do actually smell distinctly different. I feel like one is more floral than the other.
One smells more like balls, and the other one smells more like ass.
Cameron really likes the middle ground. He's a real taint man.
He's more of a LaMelo Ball kind of guy.
Oh my god! Did you guys see that football interception catch the other day where the dude caught it in between his legs?
No.
Dude legit caught it like with his gooch. Like, it was crazy. It was the craziest non-catch I've ever seen. Like, it wasn't a catch because I think it was like pass interference or something, but he legit caught it like in between his legs. It was sick.
Man with the iron cheeks. Check out the show notes below. If you need a recipe for a gin and tonic, it's just like, if you can't get it from
Go
the title.
do it.
It's literally in the name. It's in the name.
But if you need some gin or some tonic water, check the show notes below and buy it from Caskers and Drizzly. And
you have to have a really high IQ to understand how to make a gin and tonic. It's not for everyone.
For an extra $1,000, I'll bathe in some gin, bottle it up, and send it to you.
Oh.
Let's get that.
Gives a whole new meaning to bathtub gin.
Let's get that Kickstarter going.
Gamer Boy gin.
Good old bath gin.
Yeah, so use the Casker and Drizzly links. Get your some alcohol delivered directly to your door, or hit up the link and get some Cameron's bathwater gin. Pick your poison, and we get a little kickback from those links, both of them, either if you buy the bathtub gin or the Casker stuff. So check out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles wherever you want to, because it's not available anywhere right now. But it is a great Thanksgiving movie because it takes place around the holidays. I feel like it could also be like a just Christmas movie. It has like the same.
I think this is a pretty uniquely Thanksgiving movie. I mean, it has a very similar vibe to a Christmas movie, but it is Thanksgiving, you know?
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it is a holiday movie.
If they were to say I have to get home for Christmas, 100% would not change the plot of the movie, right?
No, 100%, yeah. I don't think there's any specific like turkey or like anything like that.
Okay, hold on.
The small talk in the diner, they talk about them having the turkey there, but realistically, you could just as easily change like 2 lines of dialogue and it's a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
So did John Hughes write Home Alone?
I don't know.
I think he did. Because the scene, yes, written by John Hughes. So what makes me combine these two movies is obviously John Hughes. But the scene where the mom is trying to get back to Kevin, where she meets John Candy, I'm pretty sure, and he's with the whole polka gang, and she's like, it's just a whole like ordeal to get back. I'm like, that was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but in a much longer form.
Yeah.
Cam, your wife compared this to like the National Lampoon movies.
Oh yeah.
Like Christmas Vacation. And I'm like, well, John Hughes also wrote those, so it's he's just got his hand in like every one of these like travel.
We'll talk about it. I do
lighthearted.
actually like this one better than National Lampoon, from what I've seen. But yeah, I guess I did not know that John Hughes was involved in all of them. Like that, this movie, Home Alone. Not even really familiar with who this person is, honestly.
Any really popular 80s movie, just John Hughes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, he wrote 16 Candles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Breakfast Club, Weird Science, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, Uncle Buck, The Great Outdoors, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller.
Wow, this dude is just
Beethoven,
insane.
Home Alone 2, Flubber. He wrote Flubber.
Oh my god.
Did you mention Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes. Yeah.
Did he just direct that, or did he also write that?
He wrote it. I don't know.
Okay.
Did he? I think he also directed it though.
Wow.
I think so.
Which is
He died at
probably how we
59
get
due to a
Ben
fatal heart
Stein.
attack. That's crazy.
Dude, yeah.
Jeez.
John Hughes,
Sounds he was probably doing so much coke to crank out all those movies in the 80s.
I mean,
I
you're
mean,
not wrong.
dude was cranking out a movie every like 6-7 weeks.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a 1987 comedy, directed and written by John Hughes. Stars Steve Martin, John Candy, Layla Robbins, Michael McKean. Kevin Bacon was in there for a hot minute. Martin Ferrero from Jurassic Park was in there as a second motel clerk.
Okay.
I swear there was one character who I was like, oh, who is that?
Mine's is Owen, who is Dylan Baker, who is Dr. Kurt Connors in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Matthew Lawrence played the son. He's in obviously a bunch of stuff in the 80s and early 90s. You're thinking of Ben Stein, Bueller.
Yeah,
Bueller.
well, I know Ben Stein. It might be Matthew Lawrence.
Larry Hankin, who played the cab driver. If anybody's watched Friends, he's like their creepy neighbor who's always in the bathrobe.
He was also Old
could
Joe
swear
in
he's-
Breaking Bad.
I could swear he's also been in some sort of Sandler movie. Yeah, he's in Billy Madison. Okay. I think he's the butler.
Oh, yeah, that dude's in a bunch of weird stuff. Like, he's also
I
in
think
Barry, I guess.
Yeah, I want to say he's the butler in Billy Madison because I saw him and was immediately like, I recognized him from Friends, and then I was like, he's definitely part of the Sandler verse.
That's how this podcast associates people now. I'm like, are they in the Sandlerverse or no?
I mean, screw 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's all about the Sandlerverse.
I think you could probably play the game with Adam Sandler and it would be about the same.
Probably.
All you have to do is get to a vacation in a tropical destination, and you're there at Sandler.
I forget who it was. Tom Hanks was just on it. Barstool, maybe? Or not Barstool.
Oh, you talking about the
Ringer.
armchair expert? Oh, okay.
No. He was just on The Ringer, I think, to promote his Apple movie. And Bill Simmons, asked him...
Whoa!
He asked him what was his favorite movies to make. And all of them were like, oh, I really enjoyed making Castaway because the entire family was with me and we traveled to like Fiji and all these tropical islands. And then the next answer was like, oh yeah, and my whole family was there and we traveled and we did this whole thing. And I was like,
There's a
it
common
feels
theme.
like you didn't enjoy necessarily the process of making the movie, but you enjoyed that your family got a free vacation from it for months.
Go figure.
I mean,
Which I don't
Hey.
blame him, but
I don't. It's probably why, like, when he started doing, like, writing in that, you gotta think, if you're an actor and you're also writing movies, you would write that shit in the most beautiful fucking location and be like, we have to
most
make this
obscene
movie.
amount of
Cough,
money.
cough,
And he gets
Adam
a gold
Sandler.
Rolls
Do-over.
Royce.
Murder mystery. Come on.
Oh, the other one was like Atlas Shrugged, and he was like, yeah, we traveled the world in like so many months. Or not Atlas Shrugged. Is it Atlas Shrugged? What is that? Cloud Atlas? I don't know. He was in some weird fucking movie.
Two
I think it was
very
Cloud
different
Atlas.
movies.
Oh,
Atlas Shrugged
yeah,
is an
no,
Ayn
those
Rand
are-
thing.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
probably.
I was really confused
I don't think
where
it's
you were
that,
going with
probably.
that. I don't remember seeing a movie of that.
There's
It's
a
just
movie.
called Bioshock.
Ah, there you go.
Cloud Atlas. Yeah, that's the one with the Wachowski sisters. I had never seen this movie. Did anyone else?
No.
Oh yeah.
I had not seen this movie either.
Yeah, the movie's good. It's a ton of fun, and there's not many Thanksgiving movies out there. I don't know. I always feel like I have the same relationship with Steve Martin as I do with Chevy Chase. Like they're funny in movies, but I just feel like they're such douchebags in real life. You know.
Is Steve Martin a
I feel-
douchebag in life? I feel
feel
like he's
like
the
it
opposite.
seems like it.
I feel like
I know
I've heard
Chevy
so many
Chase
things
is a
where
douche in real
he's
life, but I don't
not a
know.
douchebag.
I don't think Steve Martin is.
Is he actually a good guy?
I would love to hang out with. I'd love to hang out with him and Martin Short.
Yeah. Yes, him.
Those two
yeah.
seem like
Like-
they would just be fucking hilarious together.
I just watched that Only Murders in the Building with him, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez on Hulu. Very good show, by the way. If you're looking for a new one.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
But yeah, I thought that was
On
really
my
good.
list.
I thought all three of them were really good. But I think he's just very good at playing the like curmudgeon character very well. Like the character who wants everything to be in a particular place and then gets very upset when a lot of that stuff doesn't happen.
I also think it's really interesting. I think he plays the smarmy asshole character. Like, I think he plays that up a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas Chevy Chase, that's just who Chevy Chase is.
He just plays himself on screen.
Like, Chevy Chase is just kind of that guy. I feel like Steve Martin isn't. Now I feel like I gotta look it up and see.
I don't think he is. I can see why you would think that based on his characters, but I don't think he is.
Third Google search when you type in "is Steve Martin," it is Steve Martin a nice guy?
If he is, I'm gonna feel so much better for liking all of his movies.
I was gonna say, I feel like some of his characters, like I feel like if you watch Chevy Chase, I think majority of Chevy Chase characters are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
But like Steve Martin has a lot of characters that aren't assholes.
That's true.
But like the famous ones he does, like he's like the grumpy dude. Like what's the one with all the kids? Like Cheaper by the Dozen. Or like this one. There's the Jerk. It's like he does it well, but you know.
The Jerk. I read this plot synopsis for that movie, and that sounds insane. I've never seen it.
We should watch The Jerk.
And
it's hilarious.
do we want to watch
Aged
that?
horribly. We should watch it.
I would imagine so, because the plot synopsis is he thinks he's black, but he's not.
Yeah, he's born into a black family. They live on like a poor farm, and he grows up thinking he's black. Steve Martin's like, he's even got white hair. He's like the whitest guy on earth. And it's his coming to terms with his identity.
I did not know that's what this movie was about.
That's what The Jerk is
when
about.
Cam was like, "Oh, I read the synopsis," and I went and looked at it. I was, "Oh."
Yeah, it sounds super unfortunate. Sounds real bad. I did go into this movie expecting there to be a lot of cringe moments where I was like, it's just always such a hit or miss with old comedies. Like, hey, it could either be really funny or really cringy. And we haven't really found a movie that's in the middle. I do feel like this is definitely more on the really funny end with a couple bits of cringe, but not super hard throughout the movie. And like Zach said, I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a fun comedy movie. I thought that they did really well, like John Candy and Steve Martin. I thought they did really well on screen together. Thought it was really funny. And yeah, I think that this is. I thought that I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my expectations were low, and I was pretty surprised actually. I found myself laughing a lot, mainly just like stupid chuckles or some great lines.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the back and forth between Candy and Martin was really great. But yeah, it was like I've never seen this movie before, but I felt like I had seen this movie before. It was like a perfect.
It did feel very familiar.
You hit the nail on the head for me. It felt like a movie I'd seen like 100 times, even though I'd never seen it before. I think my expectations were met like exactly. I expected a pretty much an 80s comedy, and that's exactly what was given. I'm not mad about it. But, like, yeah, it was... I think... You think, like, travel comedy, 1980s John Hughes. That's what you get. That's 100% what it is. There's no real surprises. There's nothing that you're just like, oh, man, I can't believe X, Y, or Z thing. It's just immediately like, okay, well, it's a travel comedy, so obviously stuff's gonna go horribly wrong. It's an 80s comedy, so expect these kind of jokes and throw in a little John Hughes, and here you go. Here it is.
I feel like the only kind of surprise is that his wife is dead the whole time. Because they give you clues about it throughout, but they don't really like tell you outright, obviously, until like the last 10 minutes.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be dead or that he was like divorced the whole time. Because as soon as he was like looking at the picture of his wife in the beginning, it's like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
kind of odd. And then when he says, I haven't been home in years, it's like, okay, well, something's wrong.
Something's weird, yeah.
Yeah, I was leaning on the divorce, and then it was just like, oh yeah, she's been dead for years. So I was like, oh.
For 8 years.
Especially just kind of thinking the whole John Hughes of it all, that like, in the end, the family gets back his family gets back together. Seems to be like the stereotypical thing to do.
Yeah.
He gotcha. Wife's dead. Gotcha.
He did. He got me by not getting me.
Pranked. Get pranked.
Get wrecked, Ben. You thought his wife was alive and they were gonna meet her at the end? She's been dead for 8 years.
And she was just going
I'm
to be
an
as annoying
idiot.
as him. That would have been actually kind of funny.
I feel like
It's just like just the female version of him.
that stereotypical ending is John Candy's wife is like, I don't know, Christy Brinkley or whatever supermodel they could get at the time, you know?
No, that's the Sandler. That's the Sandler.
Yeah, Sandler's like,
Stereotype.
I'm going to travel to a really warm, nice place, and my wife is Jennifer Aniston. Go.
Oh wait. Who wrote this? In this scene we make out? Who wrote this shit? Oh wait. Adam Sandler did? Huh.
Signed Adam Sandler. Signed Bobby S.
Yeah, I feel like this movie, looking at like Letterboxd and IMDb, like Letterboxd says it's a 3.8 out of 5, and IMDb says 7.6 out of 10. That feels
That's
like
about the same. That's about right.
an adequate area, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's everyone, I feel like all our parents' generation is like, oh man, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, great movie, perfect Thanksgiving movie. Probably the only Thanksgiving movie besides like that weird Owen Wilson turkey one.
What?
What?
Whoa. Charlie Brown, man.
Oh, I
Does
guess
Charlie
the
Brown
Great Pumpkin.
count?
That's a Halloween one, right? Or is that...
Oh shit,
They
you're
have a
right.
Thanksgiving one.
I don't know, pumpkins. They're
I'm
Thanksgiving.
pretty sure
themed.
Charlie the Peanuts has a Thanksgiving.
No, I'm
movie.
sure they do,
they
but I
probably
think
do.
the Great Pumpkin
Great
is
Turkey.
solidly Halloween.
No, it's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is definitely not a Thanksgiving movie.
Right.
All right, let me give you.
Really?
Let me give you.
What about Halloween? I swear that's a Thanksgiving movie.
Halloween, yeah, that's a Thanksgiving
It's
movie.
literally just called a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Is that the one where it's like do 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 do?
That's all of them.
You mean fucking every one of them?
Which
Which somehow then makes the fucking Peanuts theme a Christmas song. Don't get me started. I'm sure anyone that like my family that's listening to this already knows. Now my blood's boiling.
I've never seen any of them.
It's my biggest
No, well, the other
Christmas
one is
pet peeve.
definitely a Christmas song. The one I was just singing, the like Christmas.
Yes, no, the
time is
da na
here."
na na na.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I accept.
But
The
just the Peanuts
da-na-na-na-na.
theme.
I feel like it's just
No,
because
just
that
this
Charlie Brown
fucking
Christmas
Charlie
is so ubiquitous with Christmas. I understand it. I don't know.
So
it is
ubiquitous
weird.
with Christmas.
Hey.
Christmas.
Is he? Because the one I think of most is it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
That's the one you think of for Christmas?
No, that's the one I think of for
It's
Charlie
Halloween.
Brown. Fuck you. God damn it. This is already off the rails. This is the fucking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles of recording a podcast. We've just fucking...
The car
fucking
is
landed in
currently
Wichita.
on fire. All of our belongings are in the car.
I was wondering like what was going to be in the car.
Yeah, the credit cards being in the car is very rough, though.
Because when he was like, oh, the car's on fire, we're sitting on the trunk. I was like, okay, well, Steve Martin stuff is in there, obviously, because it didn't fly out.
His wallet's in the glove box.
But
That
then,
I
yeah, when he
remember.
was like, oh, I had your diner card and I put it back in your wallet, and he's like, oh shit, the glove box. Like you're like, oh no. Any favorite quotes from the film? I feel like that's a strong point of this movie. Is some of the dialogue back and forth.
Okay, so go ahead and judge away.
Boo!
But
Oh.
I definitely heard this line from Family Guy, and I didn't know it's where it came from. Is when John Candy's like, "You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me." I remember seeing that in a Family Guy episode and not getting it at all, and then watching this movie when that happened and being like, oh.
I love the like turn that Steve Martin. I know we were talking about him being an asshole, but like once he like really breaks after the rental car place and just like makes it an 80s PG with all the F-bombs he drops at that lady.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, where's your rental agreement?" "I threw it away." "Oh boy."
You're
"Oh boy,
fucked.
what?" "You're fucked."
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. I'm sure every person who's ever worked like retail or customer services has waited
That's
for
their
that
wet
moment
dream.
of their life.
They literally go home and
Yeah.
as they're showering, they're like, "Oh man, yeah, I wish I would have told that lady to go fucking fuck herself, piece of shit."
Yeah.
The hole you play with your balls a lot.
That was
Larry
really
Bird
funny.
doesn't do as much ball handling in one night as you do in an hour. You know what would make me happy? Another couple of balls and an extra set of fingers.
While we're on the topic of Dell being a salesman, can we talk about how shitty of a salesman he was? Dude just lied to everybody. Outright.
Is that shitty? I feel like that's a good salesman, a shitty
Yeah,
person.
it's a great salesman.
All right, let's see where your values are.
I mean, I'm just saying, if your metric of a great salesman is selling stuff, he definitely sold it all. He just lied about it.
Look, I used to work in a
Shower ring supply store.
no in a what the fuck am I trying to think of?
Shower ring department store.
I believe so. But there was 100% a sales guy that I would hear lie about shit constantly. And you know what? He was like one of the top sales guys in the entire fucking company.
Shocking.
But like he would just sit there, and then he'd sell his, the shit he knew about, like he'd sell a refrigerator or something, and then he'd walk through like the little small appliance section and just start listing facts about something that was just not true. Like, "Oh yeah, this will do this, 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 and this." I'm like, this does none of that. "I'll go ahead and I'll throw it in. I'll give you a discount on that if you buy the refrigerator." I'm like, that's how you sell so much. You just lie about the other shit you add on. Just like you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, those people made money. They would probably consider themselves successful.
Maybe I missed out. I don't think I ever lied to people when I worked retail.
Well, what did you do?
I sold flowers.
Very hard to lie about the flowers.
Oh,
I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
easy to lie about flowers. You just make shit
Really?
up. Oh yeah, no, these roses are from Argentina. They're way better than those like shitty Florida roses.
Do people
Interesting.
know like their regional?
The fact that you pulled that out so fast tells me that you're
That
full
you
of shit.
definitely
I may
lied.
have
You said
heard
that
it before. I didn't tell people that.
Oh, I see.
People is like Argentina roses. Is that like a big market?
Well, no, it's not a big market. No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was like the world renowned Argentina roses, Argentinian.
They're better than
roses.
those shitty Florida roses.
I do think that he is a good salesman, but I do think that is an interesting point. I think that I feel like he's actually like a pretty like, I don't know, straightforward, likable person up to that point. But I think that's like one of the parts in the movie where he actually is like kind of a bad-ish person. If that makes sense. Like that's probably his worst point of acting towards other people is selling fake stuff.
But I think the thing is that
think-
it's like
I mean-
he's just doing it to get money.
Oh no,
Yeah, you're okay with it
no,
because
I
he
don't
needs
think
to
it's
get
that
home to
bad.
his wife.
Yeah,
Right. I'm just saying
That
like
was
that's
rock-
probably the
that
low
was rock
point.
bottom.
but you
Yeah.
don't know his wife. She goes to another school.
In Canada.
She's Canadian.
Which he conveniently just broke up with, so he's available now.
QB Halloween quotes. See, they're growing
I
on you.
hate that Ben quoted that fucking movie.
I heard he also has 2 of every classic car.
And three of the Barracuda.
3 of the Nova, 3 of the Barracuda. Gotta have triples. That's the
Oh,
safest.
He does not live in a hotel.
Well, looking through the
Does not live in a
quotes,
hotel.
the other one that I love is the when he's talking about the fact that he feels like a whopper and he's afraid to look at his ass, that there'll be griddle marks. I don't know why. For me, that was good. That was funny.
I don't know why. It's a stupid quote, but when they're sitting on the bed and they're just like doing those shooters back and forth, Steve Martin pulls out the tequila and he's eating a bag of Doritos and he's like, "Is this a bad idea?" No, man, that's a great idea. Every time you have tequila, you should have a bag of Doritos. They should just tape the 2 things together and sell them as a bundle.
I'm surprised there's not Doritos tequila.
There's
That
Arby's
might
vodka,
be
so
disgusting.
They will be selling Arby's vodka soon. Yes.
I think it's tomorrow.
Oh, are they calling it roast beefier?
ooh,
It's like
it's
curly,
curly fry
fry.
and crinkle fry flavor.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You can find me every week here on this podcast if you like more
That's
of
the point. It was a bad joke. Let's move on. It wasn't funny.
I tried to do a funny, but it didn't work out.
that. I don't care what you guys say. The roast beefeater gin was absolutely hilarious.
There's so many other like one-offs too. Like he's talking to the cab dispatcher and he's like, "Why don't you try the airlines? It's faster and you get a free meal." And he says, "If I wanted a joke, I'd follow you into the John and watch you take a leak." Now, you gonna help me? You're gonna stand there like a slab of meat with mittens. So he gets punched in the face. And then, of course, he's like, "Help him up," and he fucking grabs him by the like, what the fuck?
The balls.
Oh, and the
He's
best
like-
is Steve Martin just talks like he inhaled a bunch of helium.
Yeah.
Scene
Yeah.
after that.
Later on.
For the next scene, I noticed that. I was like, I'm watching and I'm like, is something wrong with my audio? And I was like, oh wait, hold on. They're making a balls joke.
Good old balls joke.
Oh my god, the funniest scene to me was when they get they get what's his face Gus's son Owen to come. They're about to like put the trunk in the back. He's like, no, and he's like yells to his wife. He's like, get your lazy behind out of there and put that in the back. And they're like, no, we've got it. It's heavy. She's like, no, she don't mind. She's short and skinny, but she's strong. Her first baby came out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing.
Yeah, I was like, that was a horrifying. Oh my god.
It's just so stupid.
I love
Whole
the
day.
once Neil punches Dell in the stomach and he's like, you could have killed me. That's how Dee Dee died. Just like that's not no. He didn't just die from being punched.
Oh my god, when Dell's driving and the couple pulls alongside them, they're like, "You're going the wrong way," and he's like, "How would they know where we're going?"
$6 in my right nut says we're not landing in Chicago.
It's funny. The quote is $6 in my right nut, but if you look on IMDb, they have $6 in my right nut and $6 in my left nut as quotes.
Weird.
Oh man.
Oh, you better downvote that guy.
I tried to, but all it did was give me an option to think it was interesting or share it.
Oh, I love the I'm still $1 million shy of being a millionaire. That seems like such a corny salesman joke.
Or a dad joke.
How you doing? Oh, I'm still $1 million shy of being a millionaire.
There's another
Sharp
one too
inhale.
where I think it was after they landed. He goes, "What's the flight situation?" He says, "We're not getting out of here tonight. We'd have more luck playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks than we will getting a flight out of here." And they said, "Yeah, but by the time the airline canceled this flight, which they will sooner or later, you'd have more of a chance to find a 3-legged ballerina than you would a hotel room." It's like just back-to-back bangers.
The only thing I found weird in this movie, I will say, was kind of the music. Like it was very
Yeah.
reminded me of Ferris Bueller's kind of like the bow bow. Like it was
Day,
it was like
bow.
super 80s
Day
in that
bow bow.
sense, but like the part where he like doesn't get the rental car, like it's taken, and he's like, "You're messing with the wrong guy," and then it does like a whole like weird remix beat and like keeps going back to the "you're
Synthy.
messing with the wrong guy" thing. It was weird. I found
Yeah.
it so odd.
No, the
The
music
80s
took me
music
out of
was
it
a
a
little
couple of
off-putting.
different times.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they kept using, was it when the Saints go marching in?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
no, I don't remember that.
That like the theme that just kind of kept repeating over and over again? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It's what stuck out in my mind. But also it was more like an 80s synth version. I feel like you guys are going to hear it now and have like the fucking glass shatter.
Zach's the only one who has seen this. He's gonna give us a nostalgia rating and then a new one. But first, about to get 3 fresh reviews from these goobs who didn't have childhoods.
Whoa.
You didn't see the movie either, right?
I'm the goob who
He's
hasn't
one of
had
the
a childhood.
goobs.
Okay.
He's one of the
I'm one of the
goobs.
goobs.
Zach and the Goose.
Who wants to be
Going on
king
tour.
goob and go first?
So as a goob, I guess I'll go first.
as a member of Gooberton.
As a member of the Goob squad, this was a good movie. It was fun. It was funny. I think, like I've said earlier in this and probably in other episodes, I think old comedies can really be a hit or miss. And for the most part, I think this is a hit. I think there's a lot of funny moments in this one. Not a ton of spots where it aged. The music was kind of unfortunate at times, but overall it was really funny. And I think the two main leads had very good comedic chemistry on screen. So I'm going to give it a 7. Thought it was funny. And, if this is on at some other point in time, I'm not going to immediately turn the channel.
Also, having not seen this as a member of the Goob Squad, I thought it was good. I think this is like quintessential 80s comedy. By this time, Hughes has established himself and he's got bangers. And this, I think, falls right in with him. Perfect Thanksgiving movie. I think it could bleed over into the Christmas holidays as well if you would like, but it is time stamped to Thanksgiving. Man, I still wish we had John Candy. I feel like he would have made plenty of bangers still today.
Would you rather have, if you can have one of them, John Candy or Chris Farley?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that, and it's such an unfair question.
Because it would have made Grown Ups 2 way better. Or Grown Ups 1 even.
Me personally, I think John Candy. I like John Candy more.
You got to give it to Barf,
I don't know. It felt like a movie that I had seen before that I hadn't seen. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's solid, and I think if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. Great holiday movie in the sense of if you're lumping, I kind of lump like from Halloween to Christmas. I feel like that's like the holidays because it's just three bangers right back to back, And I think this would be a great transitional movie from your spooky, scary Hubies.
All right, as the third member of the Goob Squad, this movie to me, if we're we're looking at Thanksgiving, right? Maybe it's like a place you don't normally go for Thanksgiving. This movie is the mashed potatoes. It's like the comfort food that is really hard to mess up, right? Like, it just feels familiar. You can kind of go back to it. You're never going to sit and say it's your favorite thing about Thanksgiving, but you're never going to sit there unless they're absolutely, the worst mashed potatoes ever. They're mashed potatoes. They are what they are. This movie is what it is. It's a travel comedy. It's an 80s John Hughes movie. It literally gives you exactly what you expect, which is why I feel like for the three of us goobs who hadn't seen it, kind of felt like we'd seen it already. I agree with Dylan. It's a 6.5 out of 10. It's not like a tour de force. It's comforting. It's something, you need a palate cleanser after you watch the Detroit Lions get scraped off the field, like someone picking shit out of their shoe with a, like mulch piece or a twig, and then you need something to comfort you. So you just turn on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. That's how I view this movie. 6.5.
Wow.
That was a whirlwind. We started at mashed potatoes and ended up at poop.
Who do the Lions
Well,
play this year?
You really have to get an acquired taste for both of them.
That's, I suppose,
They
true.
play the Bears. They play the Chicago Bears this year.
Oh, well, we're not going to get shit kicked in like that.
The Bears.
You've
This
watched
week, you
the
mean?
Lions play, right?
Yeah, but like the Bears aren't great this year.
No, but the last time they played Detroit, they made them look bad, very bad.
But you've
Well,
watched
but
the
that's not
Lions
hard.
play, right?
I know it's not hard, but we've looked okay against teams like the Ravens, the Rams, other teams that we had no business being within like a
The
touchdown score of.
Eagles. I mean,
No, not
Go
that
back,
one.
go back.
Definitely not that one. But the Bears game was embarrassing. That was bad.
As the first member of not the Goop Squad tonight, I will give this movie a 7 as well. You guys said it. I mean, it's a feel good. It's kind of a family movie. It's safe. There's nothing too crazy. The one thing I think the movie does a really good job of is at some point in the movie you're gonna dislike both characters and you'll love the other one. Like you're I don't know. I'm immediately annoyed with John Candy, and I like kind of feel bad for Steve Martin, and then it immediately flips. I think the movie does a good job of having that dynamic throughout. The only thing I'll add is if you're somebody that like hates old movies, Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis completely ripped off Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with a more modern version called Due Date. The only difference is it's not a Thanksgiving movie. Robert Downey Jr. is just trying to get home before his baby's born. But if you want a newer version, that's it. I think it's on Netflix.
You know, I thought that's another reason this movie seemed familiar, and literally while watching this movie, my thought was like, who would I get to play this part today? Probably someone like Zach Galifianakis, and that makes so much goddamn sense, because he's done it.
He did do
I
it.
don't know that I would have pegged Robert Downey Jr. for the Steve Martin role, but it checks out.
Well, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Hit up those Drizzly and Casker links. Buy some Surfside Sips. Check us out next week as we watch Dead Poets Society. And as always, watch responsibly.